Welcome, everybody, to the first round of LXC Sentinel playoffs. My name is Righteous. Joining with me, finally, what feels like years, Husky, my co-caster. I'm excited to have you back. And we got round one action. Rivals taking on OSG Sub Zero. Husky, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. It's glad to be back. Glad to see these guys. I had a great trip to Mexico. Had some great tacos, but you know, what could be better than coming back to watch the guys perform in playoffs?
Perform is the hope. Both these teams, of course, wanting to move on to the semifinal round. We are in quarterfinals here in LXC. We already got draft going, and bands are firing away. Nocturne and Twitch banned away from OSGS. Darius Jarvin going to be the answer into Rivals. Rivals on blue side, OSGS on red. This is a best of five, so everybody get your snacks, get your drinks, get your things in order, settle down, and be ready for the next potentially 5 to 6 hours.
Yeah, I mean it's already past my bedtime, so I took a nap, got some coffee. We'll see if the nursing home lets me stay up
Yeah,
super late,
we'll
but I
see.
think I think we'll make it.
Biddle is going to be the last ban by Rivals, and Poppy going to be the last ban by OSGS. Into the first pick we go. And these best of fives, game one could be a tone setter for either of these teams, hoping to get a leg up on the competition. Best of fives get kind of weird though as the series goes on. That mental fatigue definitely becomes part of the play. So I think everybody's goal here is to win clean 3-0. But I wouldn't mind a whole 5 game series. Of course, both these teams just want to win as fast as possible and move on to the next round. I think we got ourselves a series though. We will have to see as Maokai going to be the first pick locked in by Rivals.
Yeah, I love seeing the drafts, especially later on, and how teams prepare for each other versus what they end up banning later on after they've seen each other play.
Tristana going to be the pick and potential takeaway from BK's, a favorite of his. So OSGS going to rock that Tristana, probably going in the bottom lane. Has been flexed a little bit more recently into the mid as well. If you've been watching the Los Ratones, they've gotten a Tristana game pretty much every series they've played in the mid lane. So it's making a comeback.
Are we going to see a crit Vi top then? That could be cool.
Maybe. Tarek gonna be the pick for support for OSGS. Dorsey gonna be walking the gem guy. What's his calling card?
I don't know. He presses R and I can't kill him. It's annoying. I don't like that guy.
The gem something. So I'm gonna have to see what Rivals' response is to into both these picks. It's interesting seeing that Maokai OSGS thinks maybe it's not jungle, so they're not willing to show their jungle pick quite yet. Instead, picking full potential bot lane. Caitlyn gonna be the pick by BK's. An interesting choice. Last time we saw BK's on this pick looked a little uncomfortable, but I'm sure. I mean, that was several weeks ago. I'm sure it's been in the lab and been worked on quite a bit. And Mordekaiser gonna be the blue 3 pick.
Yeah, interesting that Rivals isn't picking a support here when they see Tarek is up, so they know what the matchup is, but instead choosing to go with the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a potential double flex there with the Maokai and Mordekaiser picks. Both of these picks, of course, can go top. They can both go jungle. The Maokai can even be flexed into support if necessary. So not willing to give too much information is Rivals. OSGS misses a pick. They were talking about the potential flexes and kind of got lost in the sauce. It's gonna be Cassante on the R3.
Talk about exciting champions to watch. Cassante, probably the least exciting champion to watch.
I mean, Cassante does as Cassante do. I think he's still exciting to watch. I think he's still overpowered. Every time I've casted an LXC game outside of Rivals, when we see Cassante picked in the various other leagues, that champ looks OP. It looks like you can't play into it. If you're a carry, you can't do damage. If you're a tank, you can't tank damage. As we see the next round of bans coming through, Zillion going to be banned away from Rivals. They don't want to see CB playing that pocket pick. And Lilia It's going to be the ban away from OSGS. Questioning error. Quickly becoming one of the better junglers in Sentinel. I'm going to be banned away from him.
And we'll see. Looks like you said, some support. I'm surprised we haven't seen any mid lane bans thrown out here.
Yeah.
And
Oh, there you
guess
go.
I jinxed that. There we go.
LeBlanc banned away from Salo. Looking at these two comps, plenty of frontline between the two, the Cassante and Taric for OSGS, the Maokai and the Mordekaiser for Rivals. Some good 80 carry action as well. Neither of these 80 carries or these comps looking to scale into the late game, so potentially lots of action in the early game. Gonna have to see how that affects everyone's drafts. Silas banned away from Mundo Men. Or I guess potentially questioning error. I don't know. I don't remember the last time Silas Jungle was a thing, but I wouldn't put it past him to pick it. And I have to imagine that this is going to be a jungle pick on R4 unless they're really trying to keep a potential pick under wraps. Yeah, and there's that Kane.
There's the damage right there.
Yeah, plenty of AD damage. Kind of locking yourselves into a mage for the R5, so Rivals can take that into account in their next two picks. They still got to show where these flex picks, this Maokai and this Mordekaiser, are going. But they don't do it quite yet. Swain going to be picked in. I imagine that is a flex between mid and support. Wow. Okay, Rivals coming in hot with some cooking game one.
They knew what they wanted there. That was a quick Jace pick.
Yeah, it was a quick Jace pick. Looking at those 5, I mean, OSGS has to figure out where these picks may go because Jace, of course, can go top or mid. Swain can go mid or support. You know, we talked about the 3-way flex for Maokai and the Mordekaiser between top and jungle. OSGS might not know where any of these picks are going, and so they play it safe. We knew they needed AP damage, and so OSGS is going to lock in Rise for their last pick of this draft. Looking at these two comps, Husky, what's standing out to you? What do you think is right for both of these teams? What do you think could have been improved on maybe a little bit as we get ready to go into game one?
I mean, I'm not a big Kane fan. I don't think he does back rate in comp play, especially if you CC him. He can die pretty quickly, so if you look at the other team, you know, they do have a little bit of CC there. It's going to be difficult. If you can find the right angle, definitely can work, but a little bit harder than, for example, if Maokai ends up being jungle, you just press R. You can lock down the single target with your Twisted Advance. A lot easier to play that than a Kane, so I personally like Rivals Draft a little bit better. But certainly OSGS, you know, that Taric ult, if they know how to play it right, that can swing a team fight even if you're really far behind.
That Taric ult going to be really important as well because outside of the Tristana that has surprisingly good range in the later portions of a game, not a lot of range for this primarily melee comp. Rise, of course, does have range in his kit, but it's, I would say, more medium range as opposed to these long range mages we typically see. So that Taric ult going to be really important to how OSGS potentially wins or loses these team fights, right? With the lack of range. Meanwhile, on the other side, you got plenty of range between the Jace and the Caitlyn, a little bit of follow-up from that Swain. And then it's, I mean, the Maokai, the Mordekaiser going in, kind of a do-it-all comp for Rivals. The one thing I would say they're lacking is that true tank, depending on where this Maokai ends up slotting up. If it's jungle, gonna see it more hybrid with some APU thrown in there. If it's top though, then they got the tank covered, so we'll have to see whether a more standard front-to-back comp from OSGS will fare better into this Rivals comp, or if Rivals can play with that range, can play with their diverse team comp, and look to get an upper hand in game one.
I think, you know, that Swain is going to end up as the support, but certainly a Swain looks pretty good into this team comp of melees and short range. If for some reason CB decides he wants to steal kills like he's been known to do in the past and gets ahead, a Swain can be pretty scary even if it is a support.
So you think it's going to be Swain support as opposed to the Maokai?
I do, yeah.
We'll have to see what ends up happening. Right now, you guys can't see it, but in client, Mordekaiser has been locked in first by Rivals. Of course, they do have the option to flex it around after all is said and done, but a little bit of insight there for you. But yeah, I think there's plenty of scaling with that Rise coming through. Up until then, it seemed like a early to mid game comp from OSGS. The Rise gonna afford them a little bit of late game insurance. 4-item Rise is scary for anybody to deal with. On the flip side, looking at Rivals comp, Jace, the longer games go on, of course, he's going to be racking up the damage. But outside of that, I would say this is like a mid-game focused comp by Rivals. The name of the game for them looks to be Dragons with that Caitlyn, with that potential pushing power. Especially if that is that Swain support, going to have that double ranged into the melee that is Taric. So look for them to be pushing for Dragons. OSGS probably going to play for Grubs instead. With the Cassante on sides, with the Rise on sides, that option to teleport in or out. Especially with that ultimate as well. Maybe they prioritize those Grubs. I'm curious. This isn't a comp that we see Rivals typically do. I'd say it's breaking a little bit of their norm. Typically, they like to play that heavy front to back team fight style comp. This, on the other hand, if they get rolling on the early game, going to be really hard for OSGS to deal with. But if they stall out or falter early, it could be a little bit of trouble with no true tank on their side. So I think both of these teams have avenues to win through draft. It's just going to be a matter of the execution, right? If OSGS can play a little bit more tempered and on focus for the first bit of the game, don't let the rival squad get ahead, and then have that Tristana rise late to kind of carry him through. Or if Rivals can just put the pedal to the metal and really look to make this comp work.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, also talking about late game, I mean, Cassante as that true tank. Rivals doesn't have a true ADC to shred tanks. Caitlyn, very good against squishies, but not specifically known to do well into a tank. So that's another thing to watch out for. If Cassante gets ahead, it's going to be hard to kill him.
All right, well, you have our thoughts. The draft is done. We're going to throw it to a quick intermission, and when we see you guys on the flip side of that, it'll be game 1 between Rivals and OSGS. Be right back. Welcome everybody to game 1 of LXC Sentinel playoffs. It's going to be number 3 Rivals taking on number 2 OSGS. That's the seeding these cross-division playoffs. And it looks like we're going to have a 5v5 develop right off the bat. Dorsky will stun up the Mordekaiser. However, the 2-man pull means Mundo Man forced to flash away. First blood for BKs off of a nice auto attack. And the damage heavily favoring Rivals here early in this one. Sailor has to be careful though. Going to be walking into Dorsky. Dodges the stun. Stops the back of Ventropy. And now the question is, can CB and Sailor pick up a second kill? Probably not with the way that tower damage is here in the early game. But trying to be annoying and continue to stop these backs. Dorsky doing a support's duty and blocking that one to make sure that Ventropy can come back there.
Yeah, that's not going to feel as good in lane, but you got to get your top laner up to top for sure.
Now it's interesting. Maokai has started the chickens while Cassante is on his red, so we might see a little bit of a jungle scuffle here. Between Questioning Error and Big Rev. Big Rev has saved his smite though, so it might come down to a smite fight. And this might be just awful. Oh no, so Questioning Error does get the smite, but is forced to flash away. If he missed that red, it would have been Big Rev just off to the races in terms of tempo, but instead, Questioning Error does secure it with his own smite. But now going to be potentially forced out of his own blue side, as Big Rev does have that pushing bot lane we talked about early.
Yeah, smart move by Big Rev, going for the invade, questioning, no flash, and both of his lanes don't have pushing potential.
Now, Questioning Error doing a rather smart move, force out of his blue side, so I'm just going to go run at your blue side instead. You might have the pushing top laner, but if you're not there, there's no point in being there if you're Death Knight. So it looks like when all is said and done, Questioning Error is going to be up 1 camp, which is that red buff from Big Rev. CB and BK is getting the better of this bot lane early. Ventropy down a level as Death Knight looks to punish. But not a lot of action outside of that 5v5 level 1.
I mean, both of these jungles doing some great plays, some 5-head thinking out there for sure.
Sailor does have to be careful though. Cassante, Kane. Too many K names, as Kane could look for an aggressive angle with Sailor having no mana. And Ventropy gonna be taking a bunch of minion aggro there, and isolated Q as well. So Ventropy taking extremely low. Sailor walking into Questioning Error. Questioning Error does have the double buffs. Sailor has no mana, but the flash W from Big Rev secures a kill onto his Jace. Double buffs transferred. In the end, that's exactly as Rivals drew it up, is what they're saying, probably.
Yeah, luckily for them, Sailor was able to see that. I think if Questioning gets out, Big Rev is going to waste a lot of time checking his camps there.
Yep, BK's CB almost taking that first plate as well. Ventropy on the ropes in the top lane. Big Rev trying to be aggressive, but will be forced out as the response from Mundo Man was about to come through. Big Rev has a smite though. Oh no, it's just the Q. The Q. Walk up to your camp and Q it away from you is a simple but effective moves sometimes.
Yeah, who needs smite when you have Q, right?
Yeah. Ventropy extremely low. Cassante not level 6 yet, so has to be careful here. As Death Knight letting him know early who runs this lane before 6 has come through.
Rivals definitely early CS lead in all 3 lanes, especially bot and top. A lot of pressure there, and this is what they need. Like we said in the pregame, they're going to need to get the leads and capitalize with those leads.
Questioning Error kind of being a menace in this counter jungle pathing though. When all is said and done, he's only going to be down about a camp, but will have that scuttle to fall back to, so should be about even. Now, the downside is he did die and did donate double buffs to Salo, which if there's a laner in all of LXC, you don't want to give him even more trading power. It's Salo on Rivals.
Yeah, certainly very aggressive, very good hands. You know, had a very good season so far.
Both of these teams want their season to continue. This is a best of 5 in playoffs, so losing game 1 isn't the end-all be-all. However, it does set a tone for the rest of the series. So far, it's been all rivals here in the early game. About 1,500 gold up here, 6 minutes in.
It looks like they're about to be a dragon up as well. Big
Thanks for
Rev
the
and CB on the drag.
thanks for the call out there. I had the logos in the wrong spot. My apologies. But yeah, rival on blue side, OSGS on the red. Dragon started up and secured by rivals. So like we said coming into this, it looked like to be a dragon stacking game with the Jace mid, the pushing power, and Caitlyn Swain. As Salo was rooted up under tower, did take a tower shot there, so below half health, has to burn a pot. Not the end of the world, but has to be careful with Kayn nearby.
CB it did get called up for grubs. It looks like Dorsky is going to stay bot lane, so OSGS probably going to have to concede that neutral objective here.
Mundo Man taking a good bit of damage with that catalyst, extremely tanky. Salo just gonna fall back to his wave, and that was 3 grubs secured. So all Rivals needs to do to secure Feats of Warfare now is one more neutral epic and one more kill, and they'll have the Feat of Warfare and the Monster Hunter. And that's a good spot to be in here early in game 1.
Yeah, they need everything they can get early, and they've gotten it so far. So far so good for Rivals, with like you mentioned, about a 1,500K gold lead right now.
Guys, I have the overlay wrong. I thought I had set this up before, but I will change it. There we go. It's round 1. It's not week 8 anymore. I promise we're professional here. As Venture taking so many isolated Qs, and honestly, it's just a really bad trading pattern if you're playing a no more to give him that Q avenue. Already below half health, does have the ultimate, so Death Knight does have to be careful of the ping pong play under their own tower as a nice unstoppable comes through. That means Death Knight missed the ultimate. The channel from the W counteracts that Mordekaiser ultimate as Dorsky looks for the root and misses and is taken extremely low and out. Feat of Warfare secured by blue team, but BK's is on the run. OSGS jumping forward. Mundo Man coming in with the ultimate. CB the Barbarian falling back to the TP. Death Knight is here. OSG Cheese going to be taken down by that TP play. Questioning Error and Mundo Man are now on the run. Q means that Mundo Man does have to flash. When all is said and done, Rivals comes out on top. Bot lane tower, the next objective. Oh, never mind. A flash W from Big Rev means a tower dive will come through. And Death Knight picks up the kills. So off of that TP play, 2 kills going to that Mordekaiser, who is already getting the better of that Cassante. The smite from Big Rev means Questioning Error loses the Gromp. Salo looking to trade aggressively onto Venture P. Venture P just goes down, and you blink and you miss it. The last minute of gameplay has been all Rivals. They're now 4,000 gold up and 6-1 in kills.
Great macro play there. DK coming down to the bot lane, able to pick up 2 kills, well worth his time. Good job by Salo. Instead of coming down to help, he trusts his team. He instead goes top.
The root from CB the Barbarian forces out the ultimate from Dorsky. OSG Cheese forced to Tristana ult away. CB should get an E soon. Ooh. BK is able to finesse the ultimate there. Dorsky not able to block that. So OSG Cheese forced to back. And this tower that is already down 2 plates, probably another one to fall as well. And so the gold lead will just keep ratcheting up for this Rivals team. And if you could script a great game 1 start, that's one thing. But this is borderline perfect. Only 1 kill going the way of OSG so far.
Yeah, every lane winning CS, winning kills, winning neutral objectives. If you're going to pick this comp, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, we talked about it, right? This early to mid game comp from Rivals means they have to get off to the races early, and so far, it's been done well. First Drake, first set of grubs. This Maokai already on for the next set of grubs. I probably prefer them to play for the dragon here. I don't think Rubs is gonna win them this game. I think it's gonna be that dragon stacking. So we'll have to see what they ultimately end up decide to do. Looks like Grubs is the call. CB is up tier to help secure. There will be a little bit of a window. 10 seconds now is when the dragon spawns. So if they can get this done early, they could potentially play for both neutrals. And if they're able to get that off, I mean, it might be too early to call the game, but that would probably be worst case scenario for OSG, as BK is under fire here. There is no TPs available for their laners, and so BK is gonna have to try to outplay. Does dodge the root. OSG Cheese taking low. BK's gets a kill. The 1v3 on the tower dive. The nice Caitlyn E. And that's just tough if you're OSG, because now Dragon is all but Rivals. She's flashing away from the damage of Salo's Q, but it won't matter. The Ignite, does the Q come through? Okay, it will matter. The flash does save Cheese's life, but the damage is done. This is going to be 6 grubs, and the first 2 Drakes going to Rivals. Off of a botched play, that tower dive just needed to be a little bit cleaner. Instead, questioning error is taken so low, ultimately taken down by that Caitlyn ultimate. And yeah, things are looking rough right now for OSG.
And that was a great job by BK's. Not only when he got tower dove, but when he saw it coming, he immediately turned.
Ooh, ultimate does go through this time. Death Knight taking Ventropy into the death realm. It's in his name. Ventropy will find the ultimate on a DK, but that only means that he is a little bit more squishy. DK with 1 Q should find the kill. Q misses, but an auto is good enough. That is 3-0 Mordekaiser. That is 30 CS up. And it goes from bad to worse. OSG needs to take a breather, reset a little bit, because so far everything they're trying to do is coming up negative.
Yeah, it's not working out for them. That's
Big Rev here with questioning error. And questioning error, this is not your scuttle, buddy. Smite from Big Rev secures the scuttle, and this is 4 members on top of a Kane that can only run away. BK is there to secure the kill. Bot lane was able to secure the tower. That's all the feats for this blue side. And if you're Rivals drafting this comp, it doesn't get better than this.
Yeah, almost 6,000 gold lead at 13 minutes. We're going to take that every single time.
Death Knight finds a cheeky little bush play. Ventropy starting to get a little bit more tanky. Does have that null magic mantle, so DK does need to be careful. There is no ultimate available for Ventropy, however, so it looks like it's just going to be a shove and back. I imagine Jace might go topside. Maybe they swap lanes. Oh, Salo. This is one way to give a team an avenue back into the game. Salo caught between 4 members of OSG, but a nice flash means the root doesn't come through. The TP from Death Knight means the cavalry have arrived. Dorsky is forced to pop the ultimate. Will find all members of his team. TP coming through from Ventropy. This is a 4v3 skirmish. Rivals did all they could to make sure that their mid laner could walk away alive. I don't think they are able to take this fight, but it doesn't matter because I get tier 1 in the mid lane anyways. Oh no, Dorsky forced to flash away. Dorsky's just caught here. Goes down. Big Rev gonna find questioning error as well. That's 2 blonks, 2 in a row for Death Knight. A nice use of the E from CB means Salo gonna be the beneficiary of that kill. And OSGA just stuck around too long. Rivals was able to regroup and punish.
I think that's a little bit of slap him with your wallet diff. Salo is mispositioned there, but didn't end up making a difference. I think he planned it that way if you asked him.
I don't know if you saw that. Did you see the blue buff like auto cancel 3 times there? Do a little dance?
Yeah.
That was weird. I've never seen that. Right now, Rivals is 8,000 gold up. 15 and a half minutes into this game one. I'm all about. I talk a lot about momentum in League of Legends. Husky knows this. There's momentum to be had in every facet of League of Legends, whether it's where you make plays or how you play or how you start off a series. And couldn't have drawn up a better start if you're the rivals team. And holy moly, this is probably your worst nightmare if you're OSGS. You're going against a tough opponent. They are a lower seed rivals, but Sector 2 kind of universally agreed to be the easier sector. And this is a tough draw for them. They needed to come out sharp, and right now it's just not clicking for them.
Yeah, I don't know that there's much avenue back in this game. It might be, try to get something positive, get some good team fights. And let's get ready for game 2. We'll have a short memory.
That's just tough. That's tough line of thinking to be trying to have 16 minutes in. Of course, I'm sure that they're still trying to win. They do have that rise scaling. But if you're going to play scaling, you got to slow down the game tempo. CB has to be careful. Is the only member of Rivals here. However, Salo has responded. A nice EQ from the Jace means questioning error taken to about a quarter HP, and E from CB. The W won't land, but questioning errors on the run and taken down. Nice donation of a kill. Doesn't get easier than that for BKs. Just click R and collect.
Yeah, as an ADC, I appreciate kills like that anytime they're given to me.
And at this point, questioning error, making some questioning decisions. 1 and 5 on this Kane. Of course, you're trying to get stacks. You're trying to be aggressive. You are the early game champ. They can play well with that red Kane into the late game. But it's been a little bit over aggression, leading to a couple of free kills for this Rivals team. It's led to some really good tempo in terms of these neutral objectives. This is going to be 4 straight neutrals. 5 if you count the 3 different.
Oh, he missed.
Death Knight misses. Gonna ult the support. Good call to try to stay alive. Now he is gonna have to run away. The ghost has been procced, so maybe he has an avenue out. The exhaust does come through. A nice W from the Swain all the way across the map. A W from Death Knight. An ultimate from Cheese. Eventually he will go down. Ventropy gonna go from the dubstep ignite from CB. So even on a play that really should have been 1-0, it ends up being 1-1 for Rivals. A tier 2 goes down as well. And it just seems like everything OSG tries to do is met by a better play opportunity as Dorsky uses the ultimate, doesn't come through. Rev able to pick up that kill on the dive. Questioning error is just getting solo boloed by BKs. Instead, Cheese jumps forward, but a nice barrier from BKs means that it doesn't matter. BKs gets the 2v1 outplay once again. BK's on fire this series, dodging out the abilities on that tower dive, netting himself a kill there. 6-1-2 on this Caitlyn. Really, it's just all Rivals here. Almost 19 minutes in, and I think you're right, Husky. I think you just start to have to talk about game 2 if you're OSG.
Yeah, you just try to get something positive. Like I said, win a team fight, get a couple picks. Defend your towers, make Rivals work for it. Get something positive in this game, but I don't think you're going to win this game.
It would be a throw of massive proportions. This is a team that has a 12,000... Okay. I over-exaggerated. 11,500 gold lead here 19 minutes in. Baron doesn't spawn for another 5 minutes. Think about that. 5 minutes.
They might win before Baron.
That'd be something. We'll have to see. Death Knight forcing the flash away from Ventropy. Forcing the flash from Ventropy. And here's where Rivals can play a little bit fast and loose, maybe too much for their own good sometimes. We have seen this team get off to incredible gold leads and then, feel like they're unbeatable, as we see maybe I caster curse BKs there as he is forced to flash away. Just a little bit of a misposition as Salo going to be trying to follow up, and now he's chasing for a kill. And just round Q, Rivals playing a little bit too loose for their own good. The wall diff is there, so none of them have fallen yet. That is an avenue for a team to come back, right? There's shutdowns on almost every single member of Rivals outside of Death Knight. There's objective bounty shutdowns. There's tower shutdowns. If Rivals wasn't careful there, they could have thrown away the Otacon. It's just Rivals has to play smart and just close this one out. Otherwise, I mean, we've talked about it. There is Rise scaling. Tristana scales a little bit in her own right. This game isn't over quite yet. If they do throw, hasn't happened. But
I think this game's over.
Death Knight getting a little aggressive in the 1v3. Does have that Death Realm though, and I'm just saying. I'm pointing out the potential for Rivals to maybe do a little bit of trolling, a little bit of throwing. They know that they're ahead. It might be some false confidence. Death Knight needs to know that OSG could look to respond here.
I think for me, my big concern would be you play a little loose, you start letting yourself get picked, and it transfers over into the rest of the series, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to make some bad habits happen just because you have a wallet diff in this game that carry over when you don't have it.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk a little bit about that draft from Rivals. I think they obviously had a plan coming into this one as an easy kill for BKs there. Dorsky trying his best to hold the line. They obviously had a plan for what OSG was probably going to come at them with. And so far, it's gone off without a hitch. Only 2 kills. Think about that. We're 22 minutes into this game. OSG has gotten 0 towers, 0 objectives, and only 2 kills during the entirety of this game 1 as OSG cheese putting some damage into Salo. A nice E from the Swain means that Mundo Man forced to flash away. Questioning error, already taken below half health. I thought they nerfed this Caitlyn champ. Is that what they said?
I mean, they said that BK's is playing well, but I mean, right now, I don't think CB has missed a single E in this game, has he?
No, the Never Move has been coming up clutch. Speak it into existence because the 2-man right there. W forward from Big Rev forces out the ultimate from Dorsky. Dorsky will be able to walk away with his own life at the cost of his ultimate. Another E right on cue.
Oh
BK is godlike, and it's really just, I mean, honestly, CB looking like John Stockton out here serving up the assists. 1-0 and 12. Big Rev Wing forward. Big Rev probably going to go down here, but it will mean that 2 members of OSG going to go down. Will this be a sub 25-minute game? It definitely does look like it. BKs has to be careful though. Mundo Man pretty tanky in his own right. I don't think BKs can win the 1v1. Salo and BKs are chasing while Death Knight and CB are ending the game. Can they find the kill? They do. And that is game 1 in 23 minutes and 25 seconds. And Rivals putting a stamp on this series so far with a quick 1-0.
Wow, that was a statement game for sure. And I don't think if you're OSGS, you take anything away from that. You just chuck it up as luck and move on because there is not much to take away from that one.
Luck
you got
or bad luck.
every single position basically fell behind early, and then it just kind of snowballed with Rivals playing very aggressive, not giving OSGS any room to breathe. Great plays by them, but back to the drawing board if you're OSGS.
Back to the drawing board indeed. Last time we saw this Rivals squad, they were able to pick up an early game advantage, game 1 against TFF. TFF able to scale, come back, win that, and then they lost pretty handily in game 2. So Rivals coming out with a fire. They said, we're getting a gold lead. We're not throwing it away this time. And when you win 21-3 in the kill count and don't let up a single objective or tower to the opposing team, that is about as good of a start as anybody could ask in any level of League of Legends. And like you said, OSG Sub-Zero going to have to go back to the drawing boards, kind of figure out what went wrong. And maybe is there something we could do better in draft? Is there something that just one play in that game kind of snowballed the entire thing? Because I mean, if that's gonna be what happens in the next 2 games, this is gonna be a very quick series. I hope for them that they're able to figure something out.
Yeah, they're gonna need to find some winning lanes here because you can't have all three lanes lose with a Kane that's invading. He's just gonna consistently get collapsed on. He's going to lose. You need to draft some winning lanes. I know scaling sounds great, but they are not going to make it if they keep doing that.
It's weird. I can't invite. So I'm gonna send you the code here. But yeah, I mean, what a convincing game one from Rivals. This is a team that thought they had the 2 seed locked. Went down in the last week, gave that up to TFF. Up until that point, probably one of the favorites to make a finals appearance right along NLE. That kind of came into question, but if they play like this, the rest of playoffs, let alone the rest of the series, is going to be a tough team to contend with for anybody. OSG, on the other hand, they kind of ramped up as the season went on. They did suffer an unfortunate loss to DP right before playoffs began. They had that bye week while play-ins was happening. We failed to mention that it is a sub top laner for this OSG squad. Typically, you see Hunter in that top lane. Instead, it is Venture P filling in top duty for them. Did play top last year, so it's not a new role to him, but it looked rather uncomfortable in that Mordekaiser versus Cassante matchup. It looks like both of these teams will be swapping sides, so OSG going to be on blue side this go around, Rivals on red, and I wonder if that's going to be the catalyst, that spark that OSG needs to turn this thing around after a disappointing game one performance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back here, but I think outside of a snowstorm that Rivals hasn't lost when Husky's been in the room commentating. So I'm just gonna say Husky diff on that
Husky
one.
diff, yeah. That's why you gotta show up every week. We are.
You know, Mexico is nice, but I'll
You gotta show up for
I'll
the
stay around
boys,
for
man.
the boys.
Yeah, there you go. There you
We'll
go.
stay through the playoffs. Don't worry.
So we are gonna wait for this game 2 draft to start, which gives me time to make sure I got my ducks in a row. And that everybody's logos, the score is all situated. But yeah, I just I don't know. It was just such a one-sided stomp. I don't really know what else there is to say, other than if you're Rivals, you just hope to replicate that, and if you're OSG, you don't. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I imagine that they're gonna come out with a slightly different draft here on blue side. Maybe take away a pick that they saw that they thought was good. Maybe not play the Kane. I don't know. I don't know what their pivot's gonna be, because a draft is one thing, but in terms of gameplay, it's just like everything they had, Rivals had not only a response, but a response plus one. OSGA gets a kill, they get a kill in a tower. OSGA gets their mid laner flash. Yeah, they force the flash from Salo, in that blue side scuffle. And Rivals gets 2 kills in a tower. They kept coming up empty. Kind of unlucky, but also, credit to Rivals for being prepared, being able and willing and in position to capitalize on, I guess you can call them misplays, over aggressions. I don't know what you want to call what happened to OSGA, but it was something to watch.
You know what? I have some hopium for OSGA. I'm gonna say here it was level 1 diff. If they didn't get caught there, completely different game. They win that. It was top got to top late. Jungle got invaded. UK's got first blood. I mean, that was the diff right there.
I agree. Okay, we are into draft. Darius going to be banned away from Rivals. Darius was a pick that was rising in prio. It is considered a flex now in the jungle. It was nerfed a little bit in the jungle, but the OSGA doesn't want to risk it. OSGS, my apologies, doesn't want to risk it. Rivals going to ban away that Nocturne once again. And if you're OSG, I feel like if the exact same banning phase happens, you kind of get nervous, right? Because that means that a salty run back could just happen. It'll just be on opposite sides. They do have the luxury of having that B1 pick. So maybe they look to take away that Maokai that did come through B1, or maybe something else. Is Jarvan going to be their second ban? Twitch banned away by Rivals. And Caitlyn,
There we
okay,
go. Okay.
there's the wrinkle. Caitlyn going to be banned away from BK's. And credit to BK's. Last time we had him on stream playing Caitlyn, it didn't look so fluid, but this game, it was a total 180 of what we saw last time. It looked really comfortable on the champion. That first strike lethality variation coming through, and Rivals forced to make a decision here. Third ban gonna be Fiddlesticks. So same 3 bans by Rivals. Caitlyn, the one unique ban coming between these 2 drafts.
And there is the Maokai, as you imagined here. OSGS gonna take that away. So kind of like 2 bans, right? They banned the Caitlyn, they took the Maokai. So 2 of Rivals champs not going to be available for them right now. Let's see how they respond to that.
I imagine Rivals was discussing it when the swap did happen. That Mordekaiser going to be picked once again. Looked so oppressive in that top lane. Now, like you said, the Xante was late, but even so, the trading patterns it was all Death Knight in that first game. Of course, that is a flex. It could be jungle as well. I imagine OSGS and Rivals both are talking about where it should go. And then on this R2 pick, they got a couple seconds here. It'll be Tristana, picked up by BKs.
Okay. I mean, if I'm Death Knight, I'm after a game like that on Mord, I don't think I'm gonna let Big Rev take it away from me.
Yeah, I mean, especially with how he did the most damage in the game last game, but just how oppressive it was. And then BK is getting on that comfort that Tristana that was picked away from him last game, going to be in his hands this game. Jinx going to be the response by OSGS, so that scaling factor coming in on the bottom side. And we know that Taric is a favorite of Dorsky's, but it just wasn't working in that game 1. After a rough game 1, are you tempted just to move on from it, or do you know that the ceiling is a little bit higher than what you showed? Do you pick it again? I mean, what is your thoughts here, Husky?
I don't think you pick it blind. That Swain looked super good into it with the double range. So until you see what CB picks, I'm not taking that again.
Okay. So the gauntlet is thrown. They think it is Mordekaiser top. Aatrox is a champion that fares rather well into that champ. So, Rivals has the luxury of potentially, swapping it into the jungle and giving Death Knight a counter here. I'm assuming that's what Rivals is talking about. They could pick the counter, they could pick mid, they can pick support. They got a lot of options, and it's going to be the Nautilus picked up. So I imagine with Nautilus being picked, you just ban the Taric Braum and kind of say, okay, OSGS, what do you got? Once those 2 champs are gone, what is your pick into Nautilus? I mean, typically you see stuff like the
Milio would be really
Renata, the
good.
Milio. You can even go maybe like a Lulu. It gets a little bit scarier in lane when you run those enchanter type champions. So we'll have to see, as we do see the Taric banned away. But thoughts on this first half of draft? Do you like the pivot OSGS has shown, or is it maybe I don't know, that Aatrox blind seems a little bit suspicious to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's blind. I think that it's going to be into the Mordekaiser. I think you kind of have to say, if you want to give that to Big Rev, prove that he can play it. Let's see it against us before we're going to respect it in the jungle. It's not the most common pick, so
Okay.
I like to make teams try to prove that they can play that flex.
There are those two bends. Not to pat myself on my back, but I watch and consume too much League of Legends content to at least call my shots sometimes. The Silas band, a little bit curious. I wonder if we're going to see maybe Victor. I know Silas has been picked into Victor before. Okay, there you go.
There you go.
Renekton, going to be going into this Aatrox. This is a skill matchup. The Renekton does have to take into account that range from Aatrox Q. But if he does, plenty of trading power in the Renekton. Swain going to be hovered by OSGS, a favorite of theirs in the mid lane. And so I expect this blue 5 pick to be support. They already see the Nautilus. What is their counter going to be? Both Braum and Tark taken off the table.
Yeah, you do have some front line, so I think Milio remains an option. You don't need a front line in support here. Definitely could help with the Renekton engage, the Nautilus engage.
4 seconds until we see the pick come through. Okay. It's gonna be
Lily at jungle, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be the Maokai support, I believe. Because none of those other champions go mid other than Swain. Unless they're really cooking. So Maokai support, Lilia jungle. Lilia jungle, pretty good into the Mordekaiser if the Mordekaiser doesn't get going. Once Mordekaiser gets that Rylai's though, it gets a little bit easier. But in terms of 1v1 trading power, definitely goes Lilia's way early. And the LeBlanc that was banned away found its way through the draft. So Sailor going to be able to get his hands on that. Not the changed LeBlanc quite yet. I don't think they're changing anything in her kit. They're just visually updating her. But it is going to be the old, well, not the old LeBlanc, but the classic that everyone has come to know. Into the Swain. So we'll have to see how the trades go there. Oh, I forgot to pay people out. Rivals did win game 1. Got to start the prediction for game 2 for all those gambling addicts, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Someone's gonna eventually 1v1 you on stream. I know they're gonna save up points.
You can't say that because Sailor has already paid for it and he still hasn't gotten it, and it's just gonna make him want to do it even more. Eventually, it'll happen. If Sailor's listening right now, we will do the 1v1.
I'm just saying, let me know when it happens, and I will stream that for you guys. I'll do color and play by play. Don't worry.
There you go. I just play my my own gameplay. But yeah, looking at the drafts, I would say this is a little bit more standard from what we've seen from Rivals. A little bit more front to back. The Mordekaiser jungle, a little bit of a variation, but it's not something that's totally new to them. We've seen them play it before to great success. On the other side of the map, OSGS on the blue side, not a lot of range in their comp once again outside of the Jinx Rockets, and lots of AP coming through as well. Good mix of damage though with that Aatrox and Jinx sprinkled in. But once again, it feels like OSGS has kind of put both feet into the scaling pool this time around. Last game it was pretty much just the Rise. This time it's like, okay, Jinx, get a couple items, Swain, get a couple items, Lilia, get a couple items, and we'll be all fine and dandy. But the way the early game went, game 1, that gives me a little bit of pause, a little bit of hesitation as to why they might have doubled down on it. Because if they're going to try to contest everything early, if questioning error is going to try to be living in the opponent's jungle from minute 1, it could get ugly again rather fast.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for OSGS, both solo lanes were able to be counterpicked by Rivals. even though you have blue side, you know you're going to give up at least one counter pick, but to give up both solo lanes is not ideal when both solo lanes fell behind early last game. So, um, yeah, not. I like their comp, but giving up multiple counter picks is never what I like in a draft. Also, like you said, in the one lane where they themselves kind of got a little bit of counter pick was bot lane, but you know, Jinx more of a scaling champion, so you probably lose that early as well. It could end up being those three losing lanes that cost them so much from game one.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't consider Renection a straight up counter versus Aatrox. I know it does well. But if the Aatrox is able to get ahead, can run away with that lane. The mid lane, I'm curious to see actually how it ends up functioning. If Swain ever throws out his E prematurely, it's a free trade for LeBlanc. However, if he holds it, every time LeBlanc W's, Swain can threaten the E pullback on the return. So we'll have to see in terms of the solo lanes. I do think Rival's probably going to be winning out on that 2v2 on the bottom side once again. And yeah, I mean, if like you said, if it ends up being 3 winning lanes for Rivals again, it gets really hard for the Lilia to do what she wants. You know, either power farm with an efficient clear, if the Mordekaiser is living on her side of the map with the help of his friends, or if she's trying to be aggressive like we saw that Kane try to do. If there's no backup there, that's just a deer in the woods waiting to get shot down, you know, Bambi style. So I just it just depends on how these lanes go. I think you're right. I think the way that these lanes function, the way they interact, the comfortability of the players in them can lead a lot or lend a lot to who will win this game. Um, I don't know how you like making predictions against Rivals, but I think Rivals, with that momentum from game one, if they can keep it up, not play too fast and loose now that the game has reset, you know, the gold is even once again. But if they're able to pick up where they left off, we might be looking at a 2-0 lead here.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting with these two drafts. I am a little biased, but you know, I think this was another Husky diff.
Another Husky diff. Well, we will have to see. The champs have been locked in client. So we will throw it to a quick break as that spectator delay comes through. And when you see us, we will be on the Rift for Game 2 of Rivals versus OSGS here in LXC Sentinel playoffs. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Game 2 of this series in the first round of playoffs, these quarterfinals of LXC Sentinel. This time, OSGS going to be lining up on blue side and Rivals on red. And Ventupi needs to be careful here as CB, the Barbarian, and the rest of Rivals are on the prowl. A flash forward from CB forces the flash away from Ventupi.
Flash for flash. That's we take those.
Mundo Man will find the pullback onto Big Rev. A little bit of early bonus health for the Swain mid lane. The gauntlet has been thrown. CB looked really effective on that Swain and support. So Mundo Man, a lot to live up to here.
The first pull he misses is going to be the first one of the series.
Yeah. As you know, OSG found the ward onto Big Rev's Raptors and blue, so we're going to have full information here on the early game. Already off to a better start, as no OSG members have fallen.
And both junglers are going to start on Vision, so no surprises for either team.
Death Knight dodging out the Qs from Ventupi. The way that this top lane... Oh, he went W first. His PTA Renekton, never mind. I was going to say the way that you usually see Renekton trade is you look for just the outer range of Q. Instead. Look to be aggressive here. No TP on Death Knight either. Okay. Death Knight says, I'm the better top. Ignite. Yeah. Death Knight getting aggressive. We'll find the Ignite. A couple autos into Ventupi. And no flash forced. Well, there is no flash to force.
There is no flash.
No flash follow from Death Knight to try to secure that kill. But Ventupi going to have to burn that TP to get back to lane.
Oh, it looks like Ventupi is going to stay, actually.
Wave is crashing. Lilia is on the top side. Now, we haven't talked about a Big Rev. Cutting the map in half. Notice his top laner is getting the better of Ventupi here in this game too. And takes the whole bottom side of the map from Questioning Error as OSG Cheese to be found by a nice hook from CB. CB finds the Ignite as well. Cheese taking about to a quarter of his HP. BK is about half, so trade in favor of Cheese. Oh, Q finds a minion. It happens. We've all been there. But now CB and BK have to be careful. They did hit level 3, but Questioning Error has no camps to farm here. So the play should be crash the wave and get the heck out of there, because Lilia might be coming as well. Ooh, the flash and W, or the flash and auto from Salo means that Mundo Man will go down. That is first blood. BK is forced to W and use the barrier. The flash wasn't there. That was BK's and CB not being aware of where this Lilia could be. Dorsky going to be taking low. Cheese taking low as well. Cheese taking a bunch of minion damage, but it will be a double kill for this Jinx. Already almost matching.
Go
ahead.
Yeah. Greedy play by CB there. After BK's is dead, he tries to go in with some low members, but it's a 3v1.
Yeah. The one being a Nautilus that does almost no damage. But, you know, credit where credit is due. Tried to make the play happen. And they've, like I was about to say, they've almost matched their kill total from game 1 here. Only 4 minutes into game 2 for OSG, so off to a way better start. This Mordekaiser, though, I mean, the Lilia does get a successful gank off. They do get 2 assists. Big Rev popping the ghost to try to punish Ventupi. Just a weird angle to try to take there. Unfortunately, did not connect. Ventupi was aware, had that ward. But I was going to say Big Rev now about 3 camps ahead. So the trade-off is your bot lane dies, but your jungler is now ahead. So we'll have to see if that's worth for Rivals, as Ventupi getting the better of Death Knight here early. Death Knight finds a nice Q. BK's CB the Barbarian. This is a return gank from Questioning Error, but Questioning Error Gonna be Goomba
Oh,
stomped to
BKs.
death. BKs finds the W reset. CB the Barbarian gonna be taken low. Cheese probably gonna find the kill, but Big Rev is here. Blue team able to secure the feat of warfare. Big Rev will find the E onto both members of this OSG bot lane. Dorsky extremely low. Big Rev looking for the kill instead. Sights are turned onto OSG Cheese. Neither of them go down, but this should be a potential dive coming through. Both of the rivals members are healthy enough to try to make this work. Instead, they're just gonna shove the wave, turn their attention onto this dragon. Death Knight taken low. Doesn't have the TP, so is gonna try to stick around. Oh, Venture Beef tries to get the Q flash, unfortunately doesn't land. That's a big cooldown for Venture P. And don't look now. CB the Barbarian on this Nautilus coming up towards the top side. Venture B, though, finds the kill before CB can get there. That's just a little bit of greed from Death Knight.
Yeah, he's got to wait for that Nautilus to get there or back off completely.
LeBlanc will be spotted. Questioning Error has to be careful. Doesn't know that CB is here. During this, Rivals able to find the dragon. The Q will be found by CB, but this is a 2v3 with not a lot of damage between the two that are here. Nobody falls, however. Questioning Error is taken low, but this should be the neutral trade. Gonna be 3 grubs for 1 Drake. Salo sticking around. Gonna snap back. There. And yeah, right now, OSG about 1,000 gold lead here. Way better than game 1. I don't think they led at any point. So this is what you want if you're OSG. You want to kind of settle it down. Say, you know, game 1 kind of fluky. We know we're better than this, and they're looking the part of a playoff team here in game 2.
Definitely much better, like you said. So good start, OSG. I have faith in the boys to bring this back, though. It's only about 500 gold lead right now.
We will have to see Death Knight getting aggressive on Adventure B once again, but Lilia is on the red side Krugs, and Death Knight is already losing out on the trade 1v1. Death Knight does know Questioning Error is there. He's actually going to look for the solo and potentially, nope. Could have played smart, got the wave crash, could have back, spent some gold. I imagine we're going to hit a little bit of a lull here, unless some picks start happening. The next objective won't be up for quite some time. Cheese and Dorsky playing safe into this kill lane from BKs and CB. CB looking for the hook. Won't throw it. 3.5 minutes in, though. We will have to see what will happen as Big Rev gonna walk right onto Questioning Error. Was scroll seeded, gonna be thrown to sleep. Big Rev gonna use the ultimate to throw himself into the death realm. Look for a 1v1 and Adventure P. Big Rev could be taken extremely low, but Adventure P doesn't have the cooldowns available. Salo is here. Will pick up that kill. Big Rev on the run, ghosting away. Will be able to get out, but now Death Knight forced to flash away. At the end of the day, 1-for-nothing trade for Rivals, but it comes at the cost of 2 summoner spells from the top side of their map.
Yeah, that was a pretty good trade right there. A little aggressive, but the LeBlanc able to come in at the last second, get the first rotate over Mundo Man.
CB the Barbarian finds a nice hook on OSG Cheese. Cheese forced to pop the barrier early. BKs gets the damage out, jumps away. CB taking a little bit low. But a winning trade for the Rivals bot lane. Cheese below half health. Has to be careful here. Salo on the prowl. Has found a unique avenue into this bush. I don't know if OSG knows this. Pings are coming as if they do. Oh, CB the Barbarian goes for a ride, and this is an ill-advised dive. Ends up working out. A shutdown goes to Salo. So at the end of the day, positive trade for Rivals, but a little bit too early from CB there. The wave wasn't quite pushed in.
I think that ends up working out pretty well for the boys, especially as Mundo, and instead of pushing mid, tries to come bot to do something, and by the time he arrives, there's nothing there.
So it's interesting. Now that this LeBlanc is 3-0, a lot of pressure going to be on her to carry in this early stages of the game. Looking at the comp from OSG, not a lot of hard peel for the Jinx, right? You have the Lily asleep, you have the Maokai that can sit there. But if the Maokai is sitting waiting for the LeBlanc to go in, that means they really don't have a front line. So some tough questions gonna have to be answered here by OSG. How do they want to approach these fights? How do they want to look for these skirmishes? Is Mundo Man gonna be rooted up by CB the Barbarian? Not even time to ult. He didn't have it. A nice play by CB, making that roam work. Gonna net them a kill and a plate for their mid laner. As Death Knight finds the empowered W and eventually taken very low, but Death Knight has no more cooldowns. Will pop the ultimate. The chase is on. Eventually has the flash available. Death Knight does not. Instead, gonna try to shove in this wave. Potentially looked back. Oh no, does find the W, but that was bone plating. BK's jumping on to questioning error. Once again, questioning error. Just so aggressive, too aggressive for his own good. BK's flashing into the Jinx traps, does find a nice ultimate, however, and the Jinx ult does go wide. Salo unable to find the kill. Venturpede will be taken down by Death Knight. Will the return kill follow? Yes, it does. The tower doing its job.
Much closer game.
CB kind of trying to be a worm on a hook there. Instead, at the end of the day, somehow, the kills have been even up. Rivals now almost 1,000 gold up, and they're going to be 2 Drakes to none. They were already able to find the next set of grubs as well, so the neutrals on the top side of the map have been evened up. On the bot side, they find a 2-0 dragon lead. Much closer game, like you said, but has swung back in a rival's favor. A big part of that is Salo's ability to unlock himself in mid lane. Questioning error has to be careful here. Questioning error will be rooted up. No more follow-up damage, though. We'll be able to walk out. Venturpede finds the easy solo bolo on the Death Knight. Death Knight making a mistake in the build. If you go PTA, you can't go Eclipse. You have to go Blade of the Ruin King. Blade of the Ruin King, not Kane. So, some bad information or lack of information coming through for the rival's top laner. This is a 3-2 Aatrox. Does get a play. Will get their first item on back as well.
Mordekai's are here, trying to make a play.
Will find the E. Eventually does have the ultimate to try to make an outplay happen. However, the smite from Big Rev means that guy is basically exhausted. On the bottom side of the map, CB and BK is getting aggressive. Maokai forced to ult defensively, but OSG Cheese, Walking Dead Man Jinx goes down. The Q from CB means Dorsky to be taken low as well, but BK's has to be careful here. Dorsky trying to find the outplay. A big wave there means that the Maokai won't find the kill onto the Tristana.
Venturpede did go down top side, by the way.
Good call out. Venturpede does go down, so this gold lead maintaining about 2,000 for rivals. A lot of fight from OSG here, though. Plenty of opportunities, avenues for them to come back into it. Death Knight has to be careful. Questioning error is here. Does find the scroll stage. Will sleep come through? It does. Forcing the flash from Death Knight. Now questioning error has to be careful. Will find the W, but I feel like Death Knight probably could have found the kill there. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's...
Jeez. Forced to flash away. There's a reason why this guy's LeBlanc has been banned, and apparently that was it. A menace to the opposing AD carry. Oh, flash W.
Oh, that was okay. That was a good job.
BK's is here, has this jump. Instead, it's just going to be a couple autos and a jump away. Dorsky taken extremely low as well. 1 more, 2 more, 3 more autos will do it.
Oh, BK.
Nice barrier. Double kill for BK's. So where Salo goes, it seems like good things are sure to follow. Death Knight did find this counter pick, but like I said, I think it's a bad build. No damage. You see that? You see how much damage that
Yeah,
Renekton did?
he's
It was none.
very little. Ninja Tabby's help.
Yeah, I mean,
Very
yeah.
steel plated.
That's why you go Bork.
Some.
That's all I'm saying. Either way, the Aatrox gonna have to be doing a lot on the side lanes if this is gonna be the story of the game, where the rest of the map are gonna start losing out. That Jinx was 3-0 at one point, or 3-1. Either way, it's been a slow decline for her. Mundo Man just casually 30 CS down. And Rivals starting to come alive in this game too. Not the game one thrashing, but nonetheless is a gold lead here, 16 minutes in. The Rift Herald has spawned. Death Knight looking aggressive, won't be able to find the W. Meanwhile, tier 1 of mid lane looking to go down. Salo dodges the W with a W of their own. BK is looking for the tower. Has to be careful though. Gonna be rooted up, gonna be stunned up, but instead the bomb. That was so much damage on the Cheese. Cheese just staying too long where Cheese shouldn't have been. Too much time outside the refrigerator. It went bad.
Yeah, the Jinx is just not online with only Yuntels yet. You're gonna need a couple more items.
Death Knight popping the ult aggressively, eventually taken extremely low. The Ignite has been used by the Rivals top laner. Ultimate to find the move speed. The E will not connect from Big Rev. Venture P living to fight another day, but that does mean the tier 1 is at risk of falling. No TP available for Venture P. Mid lane already being sieged upon means Mundo Man can't respond. One of these towers is going down. Looks like it's going to be top instead of mid, as Rivals focuses their attention on the spawning dragon.
And I mean, great job from Salo. That Jinx, like you mentioned, got those 3 early kills, but doesn't really have anyone to protect him from the assassin, and LB definitely took advantage of that.
Okay, questioning error is here with Dorsky. BK is forced to jump away, but the sleep did land a blasting cone back into the enemy team. Means that's a kill for OSG. Rivals biting off more than they could chew. Got greedy, looked for both neutrals. Instead, while the Rift Herald was secured, looks like this dragon will be going OSG's way unless Rivals really wants to play for it. But I think the damage has been done. This is a dragon they can no longer contest. Instead, it looks like mid lane is going to be their play.
You still got something for it. Mid lane tier 1 goes down, but like you mentioned, a little greedy to split the map like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for trying to slow play around that dragon, make it so that it's harder for OSG to just get it for free, as Rivals was taking the Rift Herald, as we see Death Knight and Venture P fighting, and once the Ignite goes down, this is going to be Venture's fight to win. E will not save Death Knight. Death Knight goes down. Venture P 4-3-0 on this Aatrox. Blue buff secured by Salo. Salo is 4-0-2 on the LeBlanc, 5-2-0 the Tristana. BKs, both of those carries having a grand old time. Death Knight, like I said, I just think it's a mistake in the build. I like the PTA, I like the idea of it into Aatrox, but going Eclipse, kind of brutal.
It definitely has not worked out for him so far.
But it's going to be up to the rest of the Rivals team to pick up his slack. I will say, pretty even across the board. Let's look at the gold between these two teams. Just about even between the two junglers and supports. About 1,000 gold lead for BKs in the bottom lane. The bulk of Rivals gold lead coming in mid. As Death Knight getting aggressive once again. This time has CB in tow, but is running away from his support. As the ultimate from CB and the Ignite means that this should be an easy kill. Big Rev gonna pop the ultimate. Wants to secure the kill. Venture B. Oh no. People bonk their noggins sometimes.
4v1, man.
Oh.
But
Dorsky going on a ride, following the W from LeBlanc. Salo on the run, but this is a LeBlanc that is oh so slippery. And Otacon was on the table for OSG, but trying to find the LeBlanc kill means they're going to be off tempo. Instead, going to wait for Salo to fall into their own hands.
Ooh.
Salo forced to flash away. The Drowsy does come through. That is a sleep that will land. An ultimate from Lilia will find its mark. CB and BKs are here. BK is forced to use both sums to get out. And the Nautilus, unfortunately, will go down for the sins of his comrades, 0-5 and 4. And it's a lot of greed plays coming out from rivals here. And credit to OSG. When greed plays happen, it means that there should be a punish, and the punish they have.
Yeah, I like what Rivals did, sending 4 top to deal with Ventropy, but if you're Salo and you're the only one not top, you got to play safe. You can't walk anywhere without vision, and unfortunately that's exactly what he did there.
Otacon good to be not started, as Jinx looking at back. The tower won't go down in tier 2. A Rift Herald in mid means that Rival is going to try to use that pressure to force the Otacon of their own. Ventropy is top, does have TP. There is really no ward for him to go. And they do plenty of damage to this objective. Jinx in mid lane. Is this just a free Otacon? A little bit of a blunder from OSG.
I don't think they can contest here.
They do have the Jinx rocket. Will it come through? Nope. Smite to secure. That's a bunch of XP going the way of Rivals. The back from LeBlanc means that Ventropy shouldn't be able to pick up the tier 2. However, the tier... Oh, will pick up the tier 2. And the tier 1 goes down in mid as well. So OSG, they knew they were going to be late to the play. Instead of made a play of their own. All good teams will do that. It's called the cross map. They do find some gold in their pockets. Puts the gold about even. Which, 22 minutes in, it's anybody's ballgame right now.
Yeah, this Aatrox I think is going to start becoming a problem. I'm not sure if anyone is going to be able to match him in the 1v1.
We will have to see. I think LeBlanc will have an easiest time. It's really hard to hit a LeBlanc when you're the Aatrox. And this is the sustained tank Aatrox variety, so you can't really one-shot the LB. So Salo on contain the Aatrox duty. Death Knight gotta try to put pressure on bot lane. CB and BKs find a Dorsky forced to flash Maokai where they were not supposed to be. OSG Cheese forced to flash away from Salo, but this might be a dead Jinx. Instead, Drowsy from Questioning Error means a bunch of damage will be going down on Salo. A nice locket from CB though means Salo only taking out about half HP, which means the play. Ooh, that W from Swain. The play does die, and it does mean that is soul point for Rivals.
Yeah, this Aatrox though in the top lane, threatening the inhib turret.
Oh, Mundo Man gonna force to pop the ults. Big Rev and Death Knight are here. Big Rev ulting as well, and Mundo Man has a sustain, but not that much sustain. This is a very well fed Mordekaiser here in terms of farm. Oh, something happened mid. CB and BKs will go down. Salo has to be careful as well. Ventropy is here.
I wasn't watching the minimap. I didn't quite see what happened there, but good play by OSG.
Salo trying to clear the wave, will get W'd and stunned up by Ventropy and Dorsky. Ooh, some fancy footwork means he doesn't quite go down. Squirrel Seed comes out, won't find its mark. Jinx Rocket flying through the lane, smacks Big Riv in the face. Means Salo is safe.
Yeah, definitely some fancy footwork there to get out.
So only, we'll call it 500 gold separates these two teams slightly in favor of OSG. However, 3 Jakes to 1 and an Otacon to boot. Like I said, it's a toss-up right now. Might just come down to a late game team fight to seal the deal for either of these two teams here in game 2. Q from CB goes wide. However, Salo is there waiting in the wings. Will force the ultimate out for Lilia. Self-peeling ult. The W canceled by CB's ultimate. The hook will find its mark. BK's is there, but the shutdown goes to Salo. Jungler down and a Baron on this top side means rivals can potentially get aggressive around this objective. And it looks like that's what they're immediately going to start up. Salo has some gummies there to heal himself back up to full. Aatrox on the bottom side of the map does have TP. Does OSG want to contest? Salo
should be free.
playing
Oh,
Interceptor.
he's coming in.
This is an aggressive TP though, as Death Knight zoning out the Jinx. Moondoman and Venture are here. Death Knight forced to pop the ultimate. Jeez, just taken immediately out by Salo, but Salo quickly goes down as well. BK is autoing, using the barrier, jumping in, does find the kill. BK's at the hero play.
Ooh, gets out.
Gets out as well. Dorsky should go down, and does. Death Knight the beneficiary of that kill. Linking health bars means that the Rift won't, or sorry, the Baron won't be able to be started. However, that is a one-team fight. A very long ace. Questioning error did spawn, so the ace didn't come through, but it was a 5-for-1 when all is said and done. Rival's gonna reset and look to do it right again.
Yeah, that was a good team fight. The very aggressive teleport right into the middle of the rivals team instead of from the flank did not help the Aatrox.
Nothing walking into the bottom lane means there won't be a TP play for rivals. Oh, Salo finds Questioning Error. Questioning Error forced to use the ultimate defensively yet again. Big Rev is here. We're not going to be able to find the E. That is a very fast steer, however. Salo fishing for the play, and look at the angle BK's has. Questioning might think he's out, but the Tristana is here. BK's putting this rivals squad on his back, making hero play after hero play. Death Knight forced to pop the ultimate once again, but this is a Lilia that is down, and I believe this should be a Rift Herald going rivals way, unless OSGA able to find a miracle pick. Entropy getting aggressive on a Salo, but Salo in no danger. This Baron already taken down to about below half health. Jinx Rocket is available here. Big Rev looking to block it. Arrow, or the rocket does land, but it's not quite enough damage. Smite comes through. Rivals able to secure Dorsky. Ulting offensively, defensively, too early to tell, but BK is on to Mundo Man. Mundo Man just taken so low. BK is doing so much damage on the Tristana. Death Knight able to pick up that kill. Salo on the backside of the map means Cheese does go down. Ben should be going to be the next to follow. Dorsky on the run. Both these characters fighting for the lives. In the end, only one will fall. And that's a Baron into fight, into Dragon take. And Rivals showing their macro prowess. While the game was close, they have jumped to about a 5,000 gold lead, which should only grow on the back of this Baron. And that is Ocean Soul secured as well.
Yeah, some great team fighting there. BK is just allowed to free fire behind these big guys standing in front of him, and that's a recipe for success if you're rivals.
Yeah, a free firing Tristana, a Tristana pick that is very comfortable in BK's hands. Threading the margins. He's down in CS right now, but making his presence felt. He has 3 items. He's doing a ton of damage. Took Mundo Man to about half health before Mundo even popped the ultimate. And now, how will Rivals effectively utilize this Baron? Tier 2 is about to go down. Cheese is here. Will be enough to hold it up for now. Rivals looking like they're waiting for their waves to match to make sure that this push goes without a hitch. Gonna force OSG in a decision. Do they overload one lane? Do they try to absorb? What will OSG try to do here? As it's pretty clear what Rivals is trying to do. Brute force their way into the base of OSG. Tier 2 will
If
go down.
they don't do something, they're just going to lose every lane
Woo!
slowly here.
Ventripy. Well, that is a dead Aatrox. The power of the LeBlanc. That's a 3-item LeBlanc. Big Rev, CB, taking up everything, letting BKs, like you said, just go to town wherever he wants to auto. The push is on for Rivals. Questioning Air, taking extremely low, forcing out the locket from Dorsky. Big Rev finds a nice pull. Won't result in much damage, however. That is Inhibitor, Turret, and Mid falling. Looks like Inhibitor will go down as well. Questioning Air, taken down to about a quarter HP. CB Barbarian using the ultimate. Will the kill come through? It will not. CB on the punt. CB forced out by some disengage from OSGA, but Dorsky will go down. The Q will connect. Mundo Man forced to pop the ultimate. Questioning Air does find a nice sleep. Questioning Air taken extremely low. Mundo Man flashing away, almost killing the deer in the process. Death Knight flashing will fall to the tower. This is a messy fight from both sides. BKs finds the angle on the cheese, unable to take the LeBlanc down. Ventripy will fall. Salo gonna find the second inhibitor of the game as well. OSG putting up a good fight, but there's just too much in the tank for Rivals. The fight goes even, but that's 2 inhibs down.
That was a good fight for both sides. Some positive things, but
Rivals unrelenting, already turning their attention onto this 3rd inhib, and it looks like OSG is just gonna give it. They only had 3 members, and they were still afraid of the Rivals squad.
3v4, and they let them take that. That's not great. Now, just looking at vision, Rivals has some really deep vision right now. They can see pretty much the whole jungle of OSG. It's exactly what you want from that deep vision.
Yeah, and with, I mean, double supers in every lane. Baron coming up here in a minute 30. It's just going to be Rivals choking out OSG slowly. Going to make sure they keep up that vision. They're going to make sure that they can't really leave their base without potentially taking a game-losing fight. And if that doesn't come through, they could just fall back and look at the Baron. But OSG has to be careful here. Salo, level 17 on this LeBlanc. Almost has that death cap available as well. Going to be doing so much damage. The pressure is on. A wave crashing in the bottom lane. A wave crashing in top. King's coming. Squirrel Seed will hit Big Rev, but the ultimate not used.
Rivals just has to play this slow.
Yep. They just gotta make sure they don't fall to a crazy Lily asleep, right? I feel like that's the only avenue for OSG to take a winning fight. E does land on a Big Rev. A Q will land on BK's. BK's falls asleep, but in no danger. Ventripy pops the ultimate Big Rev. Ults in response. A Q means Questioning Error forced to flash away. Ventripy taken to under half health. Questioning Error already down. BK is jumping to his death. But it's in the name of ending the game. Will it be enough? Mundo Man and co fighting back. Ventripy will eventually fall. Dorsky and Mundo Man now on the run. Mundo Man will not go down. Sailor taken extremely low. Big Rev somehow full health. And that's going to be game 2. Wasn't the prettiest from Rivals, but effective nonetheless. Rivals finds themselves with a 2-0 lead.
It was close until it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it was very close. It was honestly a way better showing than game 1 from OSG. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. A little bit of a slip up there in the mid game, and somehow, either credit to Big Rev's pathing or credit to knowing where OSG members were on the map. But after that first set of grubs, it meant that after that, every neutral was taken by Big Rev and Rivals, except for that Drake that they had to give off that pick on Salo. And I mean, if you're Rivals, it was sloppy, right? Especially considering how game 1 went. A lot of OSG successes were mostly Rivals mistakes, And down 2-0, OSG really got to be kicking themselves. That was probably their best chance to pick up a win there. They had all the tools in their favor. They had the scaling. They had a winning top side. They just couldn't find the fights to eventually win it. And team fights have just been all rivals.
Rivals did a great job in team fights. I mean, the LeBlanc was so huge. She was able to just consistently dive the Jinx. The Aatrox, because of lane, was building armor. And that's not going to stop a fed LB. So, the two carries, the two people trying to put down damage for OSG, Sayla was able to dive onto them, get kills. On the opposite side, Tristana, able to free fire almost every single team fight. No one was able to ever really get on her, and that was the difference in all those fights.
Yeah, credit to both the AD carry and mid of Rivals, BKs, and Salo stepping up in a big way. BK is there in the mid game, making a couple of hero plays, making sure that the fights went Rivals' way, that they're able to secure some neutrals. And then Salo expertly navigating the fights on that LeBlanc, making sure Cheese was basically a non-factor. I mean, Jinx was scaling, had I think 3 items there at the end. Just not able to play, right? If LeBlanc was on her screen, she either had to run or she died. Not a lot of peel to help her as well. Maybe it was a drop diff, maybe it was a communication diff. Either way, that's just 2 really tough losses. Game 1 was a stomp. That never feels good. And then game 2, back and forth and fair until, like you said, until it wasn't. And if you're OSG, it's just going to be so tough to keep mentals, but that's what you have to do. It's a best of 5, right? You still got 3 more chances to turn it around, but it has to start now. Otherwise, you're going home. Oh, yeah, I got to start setting up the draft for these guys, huh? Looks like we're going to be on blue side again. Okay.
It'll be interesting. Let's see the next draft from OSG. So they certainly improved in the second game. The first game was definitely a little rough, so brought it a little bit closer. I guess we're gonna look at the bright side here. If we keep improving as much as we did between games 1 and 2, OSG could be a problem here in game 3. I mean, they learned some things from game 1. They improved.
They're improving. Slowly but steadily. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be just keep your mental and say, we had these guys in game 2. There's no reason why we can't win a game here and start the reverse sweep. But down 2-0, it is a best of 5. Anything can happen. But if you're Rivals, you're more than incentivized to close this game out 3-0. Turn your attention to next week's matchup, whoever it may be. We will have to see.
It's like both teams are about ready to start game 3, where we'll get our answers on what OSG's solution is to the problem of Rivals winning games 1 and games 2.
And I don't know. Do you think it was because it was just a hard to execute team fight? There wasn't enough peeling for the Jinx. You had a lot of damage, the Aatrox, the Lilia, the Swain. But in terms of a front to back, it seems like Rivals had a little bit easier of a time. Maybe they just go even more standard. 2 tanks and 2 damage carries and maybe like a bruiser thrown in there. I don't know at this point.
Yeah. I think that was the big problem there. They got the Jinx the early lead. She's a scaling champ. If you get her ahead early, should be able to coast into the mid to late game where she takes over, but she could never free fire in any of the team fights. There was no peel. Rivals was able to jump on her continuously, and that was the difference in those fights.
We are into draft. Same first 2 bans for Rivals. Mordecai's are going to be banned away this time around by OSGS. Darius stays the same. Fiddle going to be taken off the table, and Caitlyn going to be banned away. So 2 picks that have been proven Really affected by rivals, going to be taken off the board. Now they're going to have to bring out something new. First time we're going to see them without the Mordekaiser. But the old tried and true Maokai B1 coming through for rivals.
Yeah, if it's not broken, just keep going with it, right?
That's what they all tell me. So Maokai going to be taken away. Last time we saw Maokai B1, it was Tristana pick it up by OSGS. I don't know if that's going to be the case this time around.
They did ban the Caitlyn. They take the Tristana,
Zach picked
forcing
up.
BKs onto a new champ.
Zach, of course, could be flexed. It's been a little bit since we've seen Zach roam the top lane. But I'm a Zach top enjoyer. I think he's still pretty good. We'll have to see if it is in Venture P's wheelhouse or if this is just going to be a jungle Zach and Leona. Okay, blind pick support picked up by OSGS.
Okay, well, we wanted some peel for the ADC, and that's what OSG decided they wanted too.
Plenty of peel there between those two champions. Of course, Zach, great engage as well as the Leona, so can look to peel or go in. Our rivals, discussing what they want to go. I imagine we'll see a counter pick into the Leo. Instead, it's going to be the Vayne locked in by BKs. Slamming the Vayne early here, and the Swain picked up as well, of course. Both the Maokai and the Swain can still be flexed, so it seems like rivals really prioritizing the flex picks on blue side.
I mean, Vayne top lane, right?
Yeah, maybe Vayne top. I mean, honestly though, 2 melees picked early, like I'm of the opinion that you probably want to save the Vayne till a little bit later, but the ban of Caitlyn by OSGS means that's not available to them here on R3. Instead, it's going to be the Kled. Okay, here's a fun fact for you, Husky. OSGS has picked Kled exactly one time.
Mid?
No.
Oh, okay.
Bottom. Came in the bottom lane. It was a Kled Taric game that they played. So this is a flex, an unconventional flex, but a flex nonetheless. We'll have to see where OSGS will put it. LeBlanc going to be banned away. They said, okay, we had one game of that, no more. No thanks. Get it out of here. Silas going to be banned away from Mundo Man. So both the Swain taken away and the Silas banned means that Mundo Man. What did we see him in game 1?
What was the game one? I think it was Rise.
Oh,
Rise.
it was Rise. Yes, that's true. Had a nice roam early on with the Rise ult. Didn't look particularly effective after that. So Mundo Man gonna have to dig deep in the champ pool, as Yon gonna be banned away from the mid lane of Rivals as well. Anivia banned. Okay, so the gauntlet has been thrown. Mundo Man, what do you have? Rivals have taken away effectively your best 3 champions so far through the regular season of Sentinel. It is do or die for this OSG team. So Mundo Man gonna have to step up on something we haven't seen a lot of. What will it be? I feel like you almost have to pick mid here if you're OSGS, because if you don't, Rivals with that Flux Swain could just pick another mid laner away.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Mbessa.
That's Mbessa mid. That's probably going to be an Mbessa mid, a favorite of Mundo Man's. Rivals probably expecting the pick. We'll have to see what the answer is going to be. Jace hovered, Aurora hovered, Yasuo hovered. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about what's being hovered. Gonna wait for it to get locked instead. Malzahar would be an interesting pick into the Mbessa. Instead, it's gonna be the Irelia, so double AD mids, I believe. Could be Irelia
Lots of
top.
AD for OSGS over here.
Yeah, a ton of AD. I believe it's gonna be Irelia mid. Of course, it could still go top. The Maokai could still go bot. The Swing could still go mid. Lots of options for Rivals, but we should get a clearer picture here as our last pick is set to come here in a couple seconds.
Let's slam the Rammus, right? All AD? Come on.
I mean, some Rammus top action. No, but a nice AD counter with that W. Going to be Swain, or Shen locked in for Death Knight on top side. And I like what Rivals is kicking. The Vayne picked early, no range from OSGS. They saw Vayne and they said, give me 5 melees. So Vayne could potentially do a lot of work here. Last time we saw BK's play into a comp like that, he had his way. I don't know. It's
Swain likes melees too, I do believe, if I
yeah.
remember correctly.
Yeah. I don't know. Who do you got here? I'm gonna throw up the predictions for everybody else, but Husky.
I think this is OSGS is trying to go a little too deep in the bag here, and I don't like, without a traditional ADC, I feel a little offended, and I don't like teams that don't take ADCs, so I'm gonna pick against them. Let's go Rivals here.
Now we will have to see when you go against things that are unconventional or what games or what teams aren't used to seeing, such as potentially that Kled bot, could throw them off their game, right? They think they know how it's going to work, but they really don't know the trade patterns. They don't know how the champion works. And so Oshi could take the bot lane of Rivals by surprise, assuming that is Kled bot. I don't think it'd be something like Zach Leona. Maybe.
That'd be an interesting one. I mean, certainly I don't know that he's necessarily played Vayne into it, but BK's has a lot of top experience over here, so I'm sure he's played into a Kled a few times.
I imagine that's the case. CB giving me some insight into the happenings of the rest of the league. Roar is up 2-0 right now on TFF. Beating Rivals last week, so an interesting development there. And I don't know about any other games, so if anybody can let me know in the chat, I would appreciate it.
Is this draft real?
Is this draft? I just read that. It's real. OSG, I mean, okay, you know what? Back against the wall. Game 1 was a stomp. Game 2 was a heartbreaker. Game 3, maybe they're just having fun. Maybe that's the key. Maybe if we have fun, we'll win a game. You know, I can respect it. Do I think it's good? Probably not, but we'll see.
Yeah, I am definitely questioning.
I mean, if the Swain and the Vayne get going, it's just GG's, right? Like, I mean, Gwen, yeah, scales. There'll be plenty of beef, but just the 5 melees, it just seems so scary.
Yeah, especially with both the Vayne and the Swain.
And
picked early.
I mean, we didn't even talk about. It's gonna be really easy for the Aurelia to hit ultimate, right? Everybody just running at you. Maokai with the ults, Shen with the W. Seems like Rivals was prepared for the potential of an all melee team comp. Burrito, give me an update on the series. We know TFF is up 2-0 on RAR. How are the other games going? Do you know? As we wait for the insight from Burrito. Red Sharky, how you doing? Good to see ya. RAR is up 2-0 on TFF. I agree. What is happening?
I shall endure.
RAR with the playoff buff, it looks like.
RAR with the playoffs.
I'm just saying, if this Kled works after the series is over, I'm locking it in solo queue. If it works. I don't think it's going to work, though.
If it works. Korean boot camp just got back last week. What were you playing over in Korea? What's the new tech before it makes its way west? Yeah, I mean, you see the comps. You can predict however you like. It's pretty clear where we think this game 3 is going to go. But we'll have to see after a quick break. We'll be back with game 3 of Rivals versus OSGS. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 3 between Rivals and OSG. Let me get these logos right. I've been slacking.
If you're just tuning in now, little different team look from OSGS with the Kled on the bot side of the map and the Mbessa in the mid lane. Not what I thought we would see tonight, but
Not the first time OSG has run it, though. Last time it was, I think, Kled Tarek. This time it's going to be Kled Leona. BK is wisely opting for the clones. And this is one of those just throw everything on the wall and hope it sticks kind of scenarios for OSG. If they win, they prolong their season by at least one more game. If they lose, that is it. OSG will be bounced. Venture P taking the worst of the trade between Death Knight and themselves. I really like Shen into the Gwen, having that shield, having that W, the taunt as well to get behind the Q. Death Knight comfortable on the champ as well, so we'll have to see how it goes. Jeez. And Dorsky
he still hasn't missed one.
Yeah, the double E. Lots of bonus health coming here early with the Swain. Venture P, that grass proc with the Shen Q is just disgusting. Death Knight does hit 2, will find the taunt. The ghost from DK forces the flash from Venture P. And so far, it's 3 winning lanes for Rivals here.
That has been the recipe for success.
The junglers for both of these teams are pathing down. Zach off to a really slow clear, it looks like. So Big Rev to be up at camp. Questioning error. Gotta look for the level 3. BKs and CB have to be ready. Ooh, E will not land from Dorsky. An E from CB means that a cleanse and flash from BKs should be safe. Cheese looking for the play. A TP from Irelia. Cheese gonna be taken down. No, has the barrier, has the flash as well, but instead Dups to not use it. And I thought it was gonna be a winning play, but it might be 3 members of OSG going down. Salo able to find the TP with Big Rev here as well. Big Rev has to be careful. Does dodge the tower shot with that W. Nicely done. That's Feats of Warfare. Picked up 3.5 minutes in by Rivals. I will say the Mbessa able to free farm a little bit. So not all is lost, but a rough start.
Yeah, I like the idea. You're going to need to do something to help that bot lane into a double ranged, but did not work out for them.
Yeah, the over-aggression. If Cheese flashes there, by the way, I am convinced that he gets to remount Skarner and gets out. CB stunned up. Cheese doing a lot of damage. CB will have health. The E from the Irelia will land. And we go back to our regularly scheduled programming here. Ooh, Death Knight taking a chunk of his health from that Q true damage. Won't have the Q available. Death Knight, I think, might have misplayed. Actually does. Instead, eventually no flash.
He's just waiting for taunt, right?
Yeah, it's just a matter of will the taunt come forward. Who's gonna get it, Death Knight or Salo? It's donated to Death Knight. That's a good call by Venture P. You saw Aurelia come in, did a sharp left turn. Said, go ahead and kill me, Shen. Ooh, Leona went in, but won't be able to get out. A nice, what is it, E from BK's means that she will be stunned up against the wall. However, Cheese finding the return damage will be forced to flash to get that kill. CB on the run. The Q will land. CB will flash away. Cheese with the dismount won't be in any danger of falling.
Here
Pushing
comes
error.
Salo.
Pushing error did look for a play on the top side, unable to find it. Salo. It's just a matter of if not when Cheese goes down here. The E does land. That's an easy pickup by Salo. And while Cheese did get 2 kills, is down about 1 wave. Uh-oh, Salo has to be careful here. Oh, Mundo Man doesn't have the ult available. BK's is here as well. Maybe they're baiting. That's when all is said and done, that's a Swain that has 2 kills and a Vayne that's 1, and this Vayne only gets stronger as the game goes over time. Uh-oh. A nice E to potentially save themselves, but BK's too far forward. You can't play like that if you're gonna get hit by the E.
Yeah, no, especially when Swain is not with you.
And I get it. He's trying to shove the wave, but just do the patient thing. Wait for your Swain to come back. The wave's not going nowhere.
Zach is here.
Zach looking for the jump. Will it find its mark? No. Nice W from Swin. BK is walking into the Leona. Interesting decision. Shen ult will come down, but it won't be in time. BK's, I mean, I was a little bit worried about this. This is an unconventional bot lane, and so far it's gotten the better of BK's 1 and 3 right now on this event.
Yeah, he has to play a little bit more conservative here. He's definitely going to have the outscale and the team fight advantage, but
Nice
gotta
taunt
play
from
for that.
Death Knight. Entropy taken below half health, just like that. Trade does come through, but the trade in favor of Death Knight. The engage onto Big Rev, the ultimate to follow by Salo. Big Rev forced to flash away. Oh my goodness, the damage from the 3-man swing. 2-man swing. Dorsky get a flash, but the Salo has the Q. Double kill for the Cyrelia Mundo Man. Good look to get out. I believe Death Knight has the taunt ready. Just a matter of when he's going to pull the trigger. Doesn't even need to. Salo 4-0 and 3 on the Aurelia. Kind of a repeat of game 2. This time it's not top struggling, instead bot. But Salo remains the same.
Yeah, the Salo is everywhere, getting the prio mid so he can roam. Has been huge this whole series. Going top, going bot. Able to pick up a lot of kills.
We see some interesting lane assignments. Kled in the mid lane, and Bessa moving bot instead. They're going to go back to quote-unquote normal. As normal as a Kled bot can be. Jeez.
Kled is actually up CS right now.
He's up CS, he's up a kill, and he's gonna have ult here soon, so BK's has to be careful. Ult does tick over. Nice E from Salo, however, closing the gap with the flash. At Q. Mundo Man didn't get to play there.
That's kind of what Aurelia does.
Death Knight. Will he be able to get out? No, but should be able to find a kill there. Ultimate goes wide for the Kled, and now Leona is in trouble. CB is here. Dorsky running away. The root will land. Slow from Swain. Dorsky, the target right now, but the ultimate from Salo means OSG Cheese going to be soon to follow. Salo, like you said, omnipresent on these side lanes. It's 2 TPs down that he's influenced plays with.
That has been huge this whole series. Getting him picks where he can get prio and make a difference in the side lane.
We are now almost 10 minutes in. It's going to be the first dragon, so if the dragon scaling does come, it's going to be a late soul and a late elder. But Rivals already about 3,000 gold up. 1 drag to none, 3 grubs to none. Vayne having a rough go of it with this unconventional bot lane. However, it is Vayne playing into 5 melees, and Vayne does scale. So BK is probably just gonna take a deep breath, say, "All right, guys, I messed up the early game. Just carry me through it. Late game is ours." OSG, I'm gonna have to find a recipe for success fast. Otherwise, this series might quickly come to a close.
They do have some good vision for this right here.
Death Knight finds the taunt on the Ventripede. Ventripede doesn't have the ultimate available. Questioning Error does. Big Rev is here. Flash forward from CB, popping the ultimate, but Salo is waiting in the wings, forcing the flash from Ventripede. Questioning Error, taken low, does have the passive. Moondoman already below half health. I don't believe this is a fight that OSG can feasibly take. Ventripede doing the smart thing, looking for the back instead. Might get caught out by CB. BKs has to be careful here. Look at the damage coming through. That is an Eclipse. What's his nuts? Kled. As all 6 grubs are secured by the rival squad. Looked like Ventripede was able to get one, but did not. Ventripede did find a kill, however, will be stunned up by Salo's E. That's another kill for Irilla. Godlike here, 11.5 minutes in. 7-0. BK is going to be found out by Cheese's ultimate. The Q did land. Cheese going for a rise. BK is no damage to tumble. And the Q from Cheese means that Vayne will fall. And a nice barrier means Cheese survives the W. Smidge too wide from CB. Zach here in the top lane questioning Eric. Going to play aggressively into Death Knight. Death Knight going to be able to taunt away. Finds the grasp trade as well. Death Knight has to be careful here though. Gotta get that wave shoved in fast. Ventripede does have that Nashor's Tooth already completed. Uh-oh. Questioning Error. Can you find the Q? Death Knight does pop the Ghost, but I don't think it's gonna be
on the
enough.
way.
Ooh, the Q shield. It is enough. And now Salo is here. Has the ultimate. Has a couple of Q stacks thanks to some minions. The TP from Mbessa. Can Salo 3v1 this? I don't think it's going to be the case. However, Death Knight TPing in to try to salvage the play. CB has popped ultimate on the bot lane. Dorsky taken extremely low and does fall. Cheese looking for the return kill onto CB. Can he find it? No. Q goes just a bit wide. Big Rev with the ultimate means that CB will find a kill. 5-1-8 on the Swain. Big
CB
shutdown.
Swains looked very good.
Yeah, CB Slanes look very good this series. Big shutdown on the Salo. Questioning Error. Questioning his decision making. Just kind of donates a kill there to Death Knight. Not sure why Mundo Man doesn't want to stick around. But Death Knight will take it. And for one good play, OSG makes. Rivals makes 3. Really just 2 there, but you know, I gotta play them up a little bit. The Rev gonna be stunned up by the Leona. Cheese is here, no ultimate available. I don't think any play is gonna happen. And it doesn't. Rev able to walk away. Tier 1 tower goes down, which means that is what's been, I guess, the feats of strength for blue side as they're able to secure all 3 objectives.
It's been a reoccurring theme that Rivals has had Prio and bot lane all 3 games.
Salo getting the ultimate from this Shen means Dorsky gonna go down in quick succession. Actually, a nice ultimate flash means Leona gonna be able to walk out alive. However, with Drake coming up in about 50 seconds, that is a major cooldown that OSG will be missing. Ventripede though, putting pressure on top side with the ultimate from Shen means Big Rev not gonna be able to be there for the dragon setup. And Rev's gonna be saying, "Hey guys, I need to leave this lane," but they're like, "Hey man, let us get tier 1 instead in mid." And now the response from Salo. Ventripede ease into Swain's W. So vision has been granted. Ventripede on the run. No chase is going to occur. Big Rev going to clear down towards that dragon. The choice is theirs. Do they play for dragon? Do they play for Rift Herald? They do have 6 grubs. So maybe Herald isn't that bad of a call. It was a late dragon, like we said. So the stacking won't really come through until
Yeah,
much
it's only
later in the game.
1-0 right now, so giving up 1 dragon, not the end of the world.
Nope. Pings are Infernal Drake. Shen already down here, gonna start up that objective while his team is gonna follow. Full control of this bottom side. Rivals does have. That's a free Drake.
Yeah. Hard to walk into this team comp, especially with all melees.
Phoebe on the hunt, on the prowl. Cheese and Dorsey forced to walk away. Shen goes back to matching Gwen. Rivals up about 3.5 gold. 3.5 gold, 3,500 gold. HP not gonna be able to find this tower. Window Man dodges out Sailor's E. Now, for as much as I like the Shen into the Gwen eventually does become a split foot menace with the insane wave clear. Ooh my gosh, Death Knight.
Yeah, that's
Gotta take those quick trades, buddy. Long trade will definitely favor Gwen. Gwen has the ultimate available. Death Knight cannot stick around unless he finds a crazy taunt.
he's just gotta give that. Yeah.
Or he just give his life and the tower. Thoughts?
That seems like a bad decision.
It does indeed. So Ventropy scaling extremely well on this Gwen pick. Now 4-2-1. Shen made plays around the map to the detriment of his own farm. Questioning Error finds the steal. Probably will go down on the process. No, able to flash away Big Rev, flashing and bonking his noggin on that wall. The ping's coming out by OSG. So a little bit of life here for OSG. It narrows the gold lead about 2,000. They do have a Gwen that is scaling on the side lanes. And looking at the gold lead, you know, Cheese, to his credit, has stuck around. Despite having a 20 CS lead, is down only about 100 gold. The story of this series has been the mid lane Gaparino. Salo up almost 3,000 against his counterpart in Mundo Man. Gwen about 3,000 up. We'll say 2,700 into the Shen.
Yeah. Sailor's had a really good series.
Gets that red buff. And I like the adaptation. I definitely think that Sailor should be the one matching this Gwen. I do think it gets really bad if Salo overextends trying to find a play onto the Gwen. Oh, questioning Error. Taking an ill-advised E, I think. Ultimate coming through from Salo, the ultimate from Shen as well means questioning Error will go down. A lot used to pick up this kill. 3 ultimates. So now, with Rivals on top side, I feel like they have to play for at least this top tier 1, if not the top tier 2. Pings are coming out, so they're letting the momentum of the play take them where they need to go. It's one of my core philosophies. Glad to see it happening.
Yeah, the kill was also donated to CB on the Swain there.
Yeah, usually you're not a big fan of giving supports gold, but 6-1 and 8 and an all melee team, this Swain going to be a potential menace. Salo has to be careful. No vision on the top side for him.
If you're OSG, I think you have to play for the Gwen here on the side lane, right? I don't see them able to win a conventional team fight.
Yeah, the problem is if you play for the Gwen on the side lane, you're taking yourself out of dragon positioning, if that's where Gwen wants to play. So it makes it so rivals can either match the Gwen. Salo forced to flash away from questioning Error, but the TP from Death Knight means questioning Error and Ventropy going to be on the run. Ghost pop. Will the taunt follow? The taunt does find its mark. Gwen taken extremely low. Can she get the ult off? Does get the Q. Death Knight taken down. And the chase is on. Salo taking low. Does ult. Swain on the run. Flashing into Mundo Man. Can he find questioning error? He does. So far it is a 3-for-2 trade in favor of OSG. But look at mid lane.
Those are some huge shutdowns.
Huge shutdowns, but tier 2 will go down to Rivals. Gotta have to run away here. A lot was used though. No ultimates available to OSG. If they can find a pick, Rivals can make some magic happen. The back is interesting. They know Dragon's up. Uh-oh, Dorsky just caught unaware. BK. That's an easy kill for Van. Put yourself against the wall. The TP from Gwen on top side means this is soul point going to Rivals. And for a play that was definitely in OSG's favor, Salo getting caught out with a little bit of an over-aggression, TP being used by Death Knight, CB, who was 7-1 and 8, going down on the Swain, somehow nets 2 kills and a dragon for Rivals. Oh, Salo's E does go wide. Venture gonna find a nice Q into Salo. Salo getting the Shen ultimate. Questioning error is here. Salo taking extremely low. Death Knight comes in with like no HP. I don't know what happened there. Salo gonna go down as Salo keeps getting over aggressive.
Yeah, they're definitely shadowing the Gwen here.
Yeah, at what point do you
them
stop engaging after you've done it 3 times and they're like, okay, just keep feeding us?
Oh, apparently more than 3 times.
Apparently, Flash E does force out the cleanse for BKs. However, the ultimate from Dorsky will connect. CB, for what is worth, does get a nice ultimate, but does go down. I wish he took Conqueror instead of Dark Harvest. And E will find Big Rev. The ultimate from Mundo Man will find BKs. Rivals playing extremely sloppy here. BK's on the run, won't be able to find the kill onto Questioning Error. Questioning Error able to find that. The momentum takes him right into this Otacon.
Oh, it's going to be difficult for Rivals to get there in time to do anything about it.
I mean, Big Rev sticking around. I just feel like you have to give at this point. If you die, it's a potential Baron angle here in 2 minutes time. Tier 3
Salo
under
did
fire.
TP.
Yeah, and we'll get it. I don't think he gets the inhib. Yep, he knows he's going to run away. Instead, going to focus attention onto the tier 2 tower. So cross-map trades coming out of Rivals, but sloppy play means that OSG able to get the Otacon. Ping's coming out onto the Zac. E from CB goes wide. That Zac is gone. Salo clearing out the vision around this Baron objective will be coming up here in a minute and a half. The gold lead has shrunk considerably. Only about 1,000 gold separates these two teams. This is a very scary Gwen.
Yeah, I mean, OSG wants weird fights, right? The traditional front to back is not going to work for them without a ranged champion. So they need to find picks and skirmishes, and they've been doing that over the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, a big part of that is Rivals just over-aggressing, talking about over-aggressing. Death Knight looking for an aggressive trade on the Mundo Man. Thankfully, there is no engage to follow from OSG. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just, I mean, let's be honest, it's just been Salo thinking he could 1v1. Those aren't 1v1s anymore. Gwen gonna have that entourage surrounding her. Level 15, Salo level 13 down in XP. Big part of that is that Otacon that did go down. So even though he's 8-3 and 6, definitely susceptible to this Gwen is, I mean, not just him, but this whole rival squad, right?
Yeah, that Gwen is pretty big right now.
So might be coming through. As you see, Rivals positioning aggressively. Ultimate used by Big Rev, but Gwen has W. Yeah, Gwen is immune. So the ultimate from Maokai won't hit. The engage is on. BK is popping the ultimate. Does get the Shen ultimate as well. This is a big fight for Rivals in this choke point. Ventripede doing as much damage as they can, but it's a double kill for BKs. Is this the penta angle that the Bane has been waiting for? No, 2 kills go to both the support and the top laner, but a great fight for Rivals. That is a 3 for 5 ace, and that's going to be tier 2 going down in this top side.
That's what we're talking about, that 5v5 front to back. You don't have anyone range, guys. It's just front to front for OSG.
Yeah.
The Bane gets some free firing going.
Yeah, and the ult from either Dorsky or Mundaman has to hit the Vayne, right? I mean, he didn't have the cleanse there, so if CC came through, it might have been a different story. The fight was very, very close. But like you said, BK is going to be able to free fire if that CC doesn't come through. So it is a 1 ace team fight. It's a tier 2 going down in favor of Rivals. A TP from Gwen was spotted out, but the backs will come through. And so Rivals gonna be able to get out scot-free. Dragon Soul is on the table. Baron is up. Lots of cooldowns were used by both those teams there in that fight. Will OSG force the issue? Looks like they will. Aggressive positioning on this Dragon side. Rivals shading towards the Baron. Ping's coming out on the Baron. Will they be able to trade these objectives? I feel like if Rivals gets Baron, that's way better than the one Dragon that OSG might manage. And it looks like that's the plan. Yeah, they gotta start soon though. This Dragon is already gone. But I don't know if OSG realizes that the Baron is just being taken for free. Rivals, once again, showing their macro prowess and picking up a free objective. You gotta feel bad if you're OSG, right?
Yeah,
you get back on the map.
Soul, so.
Yeah, you get back on the map. You're like, okay, we're gonna stop Soul. If they come in and face check us, we'll win the fight. And Rivals is just like, okay, we'll just take Baron instead and threaten potential end angle. Salo has to be careful here, though. Salo cannot take this fight. If he takes this fight, it's losing. Death Knight has the ultimate available. But
he's gonna have the Baron empowered minions.
Salo's just taken down. I think Death Knight's sick of TPing in the losing situation. Salo definitely has the backup.
Yeah. It's a couple times now that he has had that happen to him.
Inhibitor under fire. Cheese and Ventripede are on the top side of the map. They're not going to be able to win this base race. This is Baron 6 Grubs Rivals taking on a Gwen Kled. There's no way this is how the series ends, right?
Surely they back.
Nope. Dorsky goes down, questioning error, trying to find a miracle play. Gwen and Kled are looking for the base race, but Salo is there, and yeah, that's going to be game 3 and a 3-0 victory coming out from Rivals.
Wow.
Anticlimactic ending, to say the least.
They were playing for the Gwen split push, but I don't think that was the Gwen split push he wanted.
No, and it's just a little bit of a game knowledge diff, I think, in game 3, right? You prevent Soul, but you get Baron. You try to base race a team that has both Baron and 6 Grubs. And for as much as Salo was trying to throw away that game, it felt like OSG couldn't get out of their own way. They kept trying to take what they thought was a winning play, but Rivals was always 2 steps ahead, if you will, able to see what OSG was doing and counteract it perfectly. And honestly, that was kind of the whole series. Game 1 was that to the extreme. Game 2 and Game 3, OSG showed a bit more fight. But at the end of the day, it is a Rivals 3-0 victory.
Yeah, great performance from the boys. Salo definitely had a great series against Mundo Man. I think all 3 games performed very well. Had some macro decisions in a couple different
Questionable
places.
decisions.
But he's got the hands to back it up, especially in the laning phase. And I mean, I think CB Swain is gonna get some bans moving forward, and if they don't after watching this series, that is a very questionable call. I did see him miss one pull in that game 3, so you know, only 99 out of 100 in the series, but we'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, Rivals definitely some things to clean up if they want to continue to make a run in these playoffs. But their ticket to semifinals has been punched. OSG will have to bow out. Sub-Zero putting up a good fight. The Sector 2 number 2 seed does fall, and we wish them all the best. I've enjoyed interacting with OSG, both of their teams this split. And hopefully they can put something together in the future. Hopefully we'll see them stick around. Interview time is coming up. I guess we'll just wait until whoever gets thrown in here.
Who did we get?
Hello?
It's Salo. All right, Salo. I was wondering who was going to get thrown in here. Obviously, congrats on the 3-0 series victory. Game 1. An incredible stomp. Probably one of the biggest beatdowns we've seen in Sentinel so far. Games 2 and 3, though, Rivals looking a little sloppy. Was it just, you kind of got full of yourselves in Game 1? Or talk to me a little bit about some of the missteps there in both those Games 2 and 3.
I don't know. OSGS was ramping up. What's it called? Ventro or whatever? He was doing his best.
Yeah.
He just had a warm up game on. That's all it was.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Talk a little bit about the preparation Rivals had coming in the playoffs. Game 1, it looked like you guys were expertly prepped. You had an answer to pretty much everything. I really liked the draft in Game 3 as well, and what OSGS was showing. But talk a little bit about, what you can expect from this Rivals squad moving forward, especially as we see some of the results come through from the rest of the series around Sentinels.
I mean, we're gonna beat whoever we play up against next week. Probably gonna get Maokai at least one of those games, and we're gonna flex around about 8 different picks. Yeah.
There you go. Husky, any questions for our
Yeah,
guest
no. I mean, people have been talking in the Twitch stream that you guys only try when I'm casting the games. How true is that?
That's like super true. We want to be like super underrated, and then like when I hear Husky's voice, I just I try a little harder. Gotta impress him.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
I mean, understandable. You guys definitely pulled it out in this game. You looked very good all 3 games, but what about that support down there on the Swain? I think that was a huge difference maker. I think he probably only missed 1 hook for the entire series. How do you feel about CB on Swain?
Yeah, I mean BK only lets him play hook champions. Can't let him play anything else. So I hope he does good.
Yeah, I mean, it was a convincing series. The mistakes aside in games 2 and 3, you guys look really good. Going into semifinals, your opponent has yet to be decided. But talked a little bit about the confidence coming in to that matchup, regardless of who it is. You confident heading into it?
Let's go Roar. But yeah, it's 3-1. Whoever it is, gentleman sweep.
Okay.
You think you lose a game? Really?
No, gentleman sweep. You get
You give a
like
game
how I
and
was
take
giving
3.
up like 4 kills there at the end of this game. You just kind of give them like a bone or something, make them feel a little bit better about it.
Fair enough.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
Well, Salo, always a pleasure to have you on the interview. Congratulations once again on your 3-0. Anything else you would like to tell your adoring fans?
Shout out Matt. Shout out Husky. Not shouting out Righteous until he gives me my 1v1 I paid for.
Yeah, it's coming, dude. It'll
that's
happen
it.
eventually. Maybe after this season. I gotta get my fingers back working. I'm in retirement right now. We'll once again, congratulations. We appreciate the interview. Good luck going into semifinals, and congrats. Is he already gone?
Yeah, I think he already left.
Okay, I don't get the notifications in Discord when I'm streaming. Well, there you have it. 3-0 Rivals victory here in quarterfinals. Husky, any last thoughts before we go ahead and raid the LXC stream?
I am just excited to get to the next week. Let's go win a championship, guys.
And there you go. All right, from all your friends and rivals, I was Righteous. That was Husky. Congratulations to their 3-0. We're going to go ahead and send you guys to the LXC stream. And for CB's sake, go Roar. Get that 3-2 dub. Y'all have a good night, regardless of what you guys are doing. Stay safe, and we will see you on whenever we see you. Raid coming through. Goodbye, everybody. Have fun. Don't do drugs.